me.
That's why we need an HR department.
I am the HR department. One live. What's going on, people in the place to be? You down here with me, KYREE, and it's 2-1 Live, and we talking about colorism. Did y'all like my rhyme? It was a little, oh thanks, Lilia, thank you. So tonight on 2-1 Live, man, we got a very interesting topic. We talking colorism. As you can see, I got little different colors speckled everywhere around here, right? We got light skin over here, right? We got shadows over here. You know what I'm talking about? So we spread the love, you know what I'm saying?
This obsession is getting ridiculous.
It's this thing about black folks in the black community. We gotta say that somebody's light or somebody's dark or whatever it might be. And sweet, from what I heard, is different benefits to being light or dark and stuff like that. But before we get into that, I'm gonna let everybody introduce themselves, right? I would normally go ladies first, but I would have to go Tay, because she's on the outside. So we're gonna switch it up, and we're gonna go with my man Derek. What's going on? Tell the people who you are, man.
Peace and love, always peace and love. I go by Derek Juwan. I'm an artist, singer, writer, advocate for the arts in youth Philly, so yeah, that's what I do.
There it is. And next to him, who we got?
My name is Aaliyah Jones, or Aaliyah Melise. I'm just a regular girl from Philly.
Just a regular girl.
I'll leave it at that.
Light skinned one too. I'm me, y'all.
I'm Rodney. I work here.
She's just here so she won't get fined. And last but least,
What's up? It's your favorite island girl, Tay Kato here. And despite Kyrie's hate and obvious obsession with me, I'm here to represent for the dark-skinned girl.
anyway, what y'all don't know is that Tay had very, actually hurt my feelings comments before the show. So the rest of the show, I'm gonna be taking shots at Tay, all right? But I love Tay. It's important that I give that disclaimer.
It's colorism.
First, okay? I love me some Tay, all right? I don't want anybody to think I don't.
It's colorism.
But it's gonna be some shots fired tonight. Okay, and she's an easy target. You see how black she is. You can't miss her unless you turn the lights out. I'm sorry. Let's get back on topic. We at the collective table too. I want to tell y'all where we at. Right, this is down here at 218 was South Market, right? This is 218 South Market. I think we at. And it's a beautiful space. They was gracious enough to let us come in here and film 2-1 Live tonight. They host parties, dinner parties, wine tastings, the whole nine. So I think we got the information on the screen for y'all, so y'all can check them out. Colorism, man, shapes our perception of the world and how we believe people perceive us. Pretty for a dark-skinned girl. You ever heard that one, Tay?
Hell yeah.
Probably not the pretty part.
Hell yeah. Kyrie, let me tell you something.
You gotta stop.
Let's squash it, Tay. Let's squash it and have a good show. I'm gonna get you out of here.
Bump
We're
all
gonna squash it.
Bump all that. Bump all that.
I'm gonna get you out of here.
Get it out of there.
All right, cool.
Get it out of there.
Drag him, girl.
Cool.
Get it out of there. Okay.
Hold
All
it
right,
down,
so
Tay.
Mr. DL, yes, I have heard you are pretty for a dark-skinned girl before. And it is insulting. It's not a compliment in the
Listen,
least
hold
bit.
on. Let's get each other out of here within the topic.
Okay, that works.
You don't gotta stoop to new lows.
That works.
Okay. I know that your get out of here ain't that good. Like you can't really hang with me. But if you manage to stay on topic and get me out of here, it's gonna be fun.
What is this turn into?
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to become
Right.
This is a sweet or sour show.
No. Don't even try to get out of that. Anywho, you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl. You heard that one before, Tay?
Absolutely.
Elaborate.
Well, when you say you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl, it means that you're surprised that I am attractive to you, whoever is saying it. Like, you're surprised that for my complexion, I could actually be pretty, and it's not a compliment in the least bit. So it's actually an insult.
When people give it like it's a compliment. Though.
Absolutely, yeah.
You're
I
pretty
think it's a
for a
compliment, yeah.
dark-skinned girl.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't supposed to be pretty.
Yeah.
How you feel about that, sweet? You ever hear that?
Well, no. But I agree with everything she said. It's definitely a backhanded compliment. It's sort of likening blackness to being ugly, and people would assume that raw blackness is like a dark-skinned person. So it's like the blackest you can be, and that's also the farthest from whiteness, therefore it can't be attractive. So usually black people that are considered attractive have some sort of Eurocentric feature or like lighter skin. So saying that it's surprising or you're pretty for a black girl, it's like, wow, you managed to escape the ugly.
I like that.
I like that.
I like that.
Sweet always getting all deep and stuff, like all extra. I don't. I don't know how I feel right now.
I hope you feel bad about it.
I'm gonna come because you schooling me a little bit, sweet. I'm gonna come over here. Y'all think light skinned people experience colorism? Anybody ever? In a bad way, like you ever been cute for a light skinned girl?
I've never heard that.
You see how she said it?
No, like I've never heard. I feel like nobody has ever said that because I feel like people don't equate that comment with light skinned women. Mm-hmm. But I think that light skinned women do get treated a certain way. Being one, and I only can speak, on my own experiences, I feel like I have been treated differently by the hands of dark skinned women. I do. Yeah.
Oh, you talking about dark skinned women? I was still on men. So you think some dark skinned chicks be hating on you?
No, definitely. Not even, I don't want to say hate, but I feel like because of what they have dealt with and because they feel like for some reason I am better than them because of the color of my skin, they don't necessarily like me or they don't want to deal with me or they have, slick little remarks to say or I think I'm better than everybody. And that's never been my case. So I think that we do deal with a certain type of mistreatment a lot of the times. It has been hard to be friends with dark-skinned women. And now looking back, a lot of my friends that I've fallen out with were dark-skinned women. And I'm not saying because it's a light-skinned, dark-skinned thing, but there's always been like this certain complex where like it's always an issue. And I can't grasp the issue. Like I always feel like it's not, what are you really mad about? And then come to find out it's the whole underlying issue to it. So I think we definitely get treated a little bit differently.
So Derek,
Yeah.
what do you identify as? Because I thought you was like dark skinned when you first like came in, and then I looked at Tay and I was like, he kind of light. So what is?
No, I'm a dark skinned brother.
Okay.
Through and through.
What you feel about colorism? You feel like you get treated any better or any worse? Some women like the dark skin.
Well now they do. like now they do. Growing up.
Who brought us in? I'm playing both sides.
You never be dark skinned.
Us?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, bro. Like when I was younger, like being darker was like that made you the outcast alone. So you had to do like I know myself. I had to do extra just to fit in because it was like, yo, when the lights go off, where's Derek? You know,
Corny stuff that Kai says.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Actually, like Derek, one of the definitions of Derek is oil refinery or something like that. So oil
Tar baby, that's my favorite.
I got like everything was like people used to tell me like, yo, if you want to see your reflection, close your eyes. Stuff like that.
Damn, that's a good one.
That was creative.
I never heard that before.
That's real creative.
I got all them Jones. Like I got like dark skin, like African, tar baby, booty scratch, all that.
When you feel like it started to change in your favor?
I mean, fairly recently. I just feel like Idris Elba, like the actor, like people just started like fantasizing over him, and that became like a thing. I don't really know, cause I was younger, like high school, into high school. I saw the shift.
The pro-black.
Yeah, it was like when everybody became woke. You know what I mean? Like it was just like now everybody just want like yeah, like everybody shea butter babies now, so they love it like the dark skin.
Shea butter babies burning they sage and all of that.
Yeah.
Sweet, I'm coming right to you for this one. You think the media has done a better job with depicting women in the media, showing darker skinned women in commercials, etc.?
Like in recent years?
Yeah, like in recent years. Have they become better putting Tay on TV?
In comparison to nothing at all, sure, it's still not adequate representation based on the number of. So if the media is supposed to reflect real life, and when you look to the media, you're supposed to see the society in which you live, it does not look like that. I think they could do better in terms of representation, but it's better than it was.
I'm gonna challenge you on that, right? Because y'all remember, a lot of folks remember the, I know they want my posture, but it's real kneesish. Behind the table is real kneesish. Let me get in here. Here we go. Here we family, right? Anywho, the ad for Dove, was it Dove when they said something about normal skin?
Yeah.
Right? So I just was in Fort Myers, Florida. Was it Fort Myers? Yeah, Fort Myers. I didn't see no black people the entire time I was down there. Like, the only black people I saw were workers. They either were working in the airport or working in one of the stores or whatever. I went to beaches, I went to malls, I went to stores. I saw no black people, right? The point I'm making is, normal doesn't mean like if you're not that color or that thing, you're abnormal or you're bad. It's just relative to the number of what is usual or typical, right? There's still only 30 million black people in America. There's 300 plus white people in America.
You're not taking into account the power of the black dollar, though.
No,
so you would have
I
to look
agree.
at the numbers of, how many consumers of Dove are black. I know a lot of black people use Dove.
This much is true.
So I think
It's sustainable.
Yeah, you can't just compare it to the
What
number
I
of people you see. You have to
But-
compare it to how many people patronize those businesses.
But you gotta remember this too, though, right? Once we talk about how many of us there are, and then that there's more of us in poverty per capita, there's more of us locked up per capita, right? And then there's not any successful product in probably the world that's not supported by the white dollar. I'm not saying that black people don't spend a lot. We just spend a lot for how many of us there are. But white people still outspend us.
In some cases, did you see anything about the recent thing with Honey Pot, the feminine hygiene line?
I did.
But you see how the black dollar can influence those things. It was mainly white women who
100%.
were trying to put them out of business.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's one product.
That's
It
one
only
product.
it only takes a couple thousand people to really boost the sales of one product. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I'm not, by no means am I fighting on the other side. I'm just simply saying in some places, that's why I brought up Fort Myers, there are no black people.
But I
we
think
live
you're
in
talking about
Philadelphia, it's
international brands,
it's majority
though. But you're talking
minority.
about international brands, and internationally, across the world, people of color outnumber white people anyway.
You're right, but this ad was in the United States.
Sure.
So that means that color is normal.
What do you when you say normal? What do you think normal? What do you think they're talking
that was
about when
my
they say
question.
normal?
What I'm think that they're talking about is they know based on their statistics that if they sell 100 bottles of lotion, 75 of them were bought by white people. That's normal.
Well, my issue with the Dove commercial was the normal was supposed to mean skin type. So either oily, dry, or normal, which would be in between. Had nothing to do with black and white. So why did you need to use a black woman turning into a white woman? You could have used somebody that was oily as shit.
It was a different ad, but I
I'm
know what
pretty
you're
sure it was
talking
the
about.
same.
No, it's a different.
Okay.
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Now that was crazy.
Oh, it was the one where they had the black woman looking kind of ashy.
And then she washed off.
Yeah.
Or
And
she
something,
washed off and she was white.
She
But the
became
one you're
white.
talking about is where the black woman looked kind of ashy, and they were talking about dry, normal.
I'm not even talking about a particular ad. I'm talking about on their bottle. It read for normal skin.
But that's not
That's a
referencing
skin
skin
type.
color. That's a skin type.
I know, but what I'm saying is the on social media and everything else, it was what the hell they mean normal skin? What they talking about? Because of the other ads they had put out showing the black to the white and the white
That's
to the
just
black.
misguided.
I was about to
because
say, I feel
normal
like that's
doesn't
just
mean
ignorance, like,
normal
not-
skin type doesn't
not
mean color.
knowing.
So that was just people reading into the wrong thing.
I don't
But
disagree.
Dove has been caught,
Multiple times.
yeah, multiple times. So I
Yeah, they
understand.
stupid. They stupid.
I understand the distrust there, but I think that was people taking that out of context.
That was a reach.
Moving down the list, colorism across the world. Why does colorism still exist in 2020?
Because white supremacy does.
Let's take white people away.
Classism.
But you can't.
Let's-
But white people created race. So how can you say that anything regarding race or color,
because we talking about 2020, right?
they
So if we
still
talking
hold
about
majority of the power?
But let me finish. If we talking about 2020, in the millennial age, especially someone as young as you are, and we talking about the black people battle for like what she just mentioned, I can't get along with light skinned girls or whatever. You in your lower 20s.
It's not that I can't.
You
I'm saying from my
but-
personal experiences, there has been issues.
Yeah.
But I have plenty of dark skinned friends.
Why you keep looking at me?
But I'm
Because you like right
darkest
here.
one in the room. That's why.
But even though, even when you talk about the millennials, when you look at it, I did a study on this when I was in college. When you look at media and everything like that, everything that's pushed, yeah, we listen to it, but all the white executives, they're the ones who feed and what's going through the radio. Those are the ones who are pushing those ads. Those are the ones who are pushing those artists who's saying that type of stuff. So it's if I'm on MTV, BT, or whatever, and I'm looking at that and I'm watching it, yeah, you might see Ross, Weezy, or somebody talking crazy foreign is, if it ain't foreign, it's boring type. But those is the white people really pushing that to us. So they're preaching that, they're giving us that narrative.
So
Also,
just real quick, does that not mean that we're just not educated enough? Because if he's doing a story on it and he can talk toward who's pushing it, and I'm not saying that you dislike a certain color or not,
right.
But where's that dislike or that distrust or association for different colors coming from within the black community?
I think As in all conversations regarding these societal issues and norms, you have to look at context. So Black people didn't just think this up on our own. It's something that was ingrained in us back from slavery. So when you employ the divide and conquer, if you put these group of people versus these group of people, and you know, the light skin, the house slave thing and the field slave thing, and one had more privileges than the other, that kind of stuff gets carried down and passed down generation to generation, and that becomes something that's normal. So when there's a light-skinned family member or a dark-skinned family member and they're treated a certain kind of way, those sort of things persist because it's never really taken care of during the previous generation.
I agree, but then I also disagree. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. I think that when you mention normal, it's normal for human beings to want to choose a side. So even though we probably can definitely say you're right in that a lot of this shit came from slavery, I don't know that I would fully agree that if there were no slavery, but there were still, you know, a little intermixing of races and all of that, and some of our people were lighter than others as they are today, that we wouldn't still have a light skin versus dark skin battle just because of who people are. Because think of it in this term, you got people across the world, whether they're in India, whether they're in what I want to say, like Saudi Arabia and all those places, they look exactly the same, but they fight over their God, they fight over their last name, they fight over something that's different about us as a people. And that's human.
But I think that's more of we're all on sort of a playing field where we just sort of go for different things, as opposed to there's societal structures in place that benefit and oppress based on those differences. I think that's different between me and you arguing over something, even though we're equal, we may disagree about something, versus society as a whole will favor me, or like you because you're a man, or like me because I'm light skinned, where there's other factors at play that turn us against each other. I think there's a difference there. You can't ignore how society plays a role in these interpersonal conflicts, because society shapes what we feel.
Right, because if me and Aaliyah make this, do the same crime, she's prison bae and I'm going to jail. So that's that.
You be prison bae too.
No,
It depends what
Her
day.
prison sentence will be lighter and shorter.
What day? I see
We're
you.
not
I see
talking
you
about
on
this.
both sides of the coin.
We're not talking about
I
this.
seen you.
We're not. Kyrie's convinced himself that I'm a catfish.
Some days Tay come in and you be like, "What's up, Tay?" Other days you be like, "Damn, what's up, Tay?"
I'm moving on.
But back to what you were saying. I feel as though it's a we could never know, right?
There's
But
studies that show we kind of can.
I'm just saying, like, I really believe, like, if there was no slavery, we still would be busting on each other for being different colors.
But that's different than oppression. People confuse oppression with hurt feelings, and they're different.
But
right?
I agree, but I'm talking about colorism.
Where it stems from.
I know what you're saying as far as the oppression and the benefit to white society and everything else like that, but you're an educated young lady, right?
Thank you.
I'm not going to say that you've never been around, and some of the people that she's talking about that she couldn't get along with weren't educated, like at least enough to understand that we all on the same team. But at the same time, there's something about just black folk, especially in 2020 as it relates to the question. We go back to the 50s or whatever we want to do, then I'm strongly on your side. But it's people that's right now that's that your age that, I mean, you went to Temple, you went to Melting Pot schools. Tay the blackest white girl I know.
It's a fact.
It's I'm just saying, like, why today, an educated brother like Derek, why today does colorism, why do we still have light skin versus dark skin jokes
The medium
and the
still
whole thing?
perpetuates.
I would also say, like, it comes from a sense of insecurity, because I feel like, for me personally, like, what you don't have is what you yearn for. So, like, for me growing up, I kind of wanted to be darker skinned because that's not what I was.
Kinda.
Like, yeah, and I mean, I would say probably all the way, because a majority of the influential or important people in my life were dark skinned. So I value darker skin. Like, that's what I looked up to. That's who I wanted to be. My father is dark skinned. And tons, like, I only have 2 girl cousins and they're both dark skinned. So, like, that's who I aspired to be like, and I wanted to be more like them. But I think it comes from that just wanting to be like, or like, for instance, when a person says, or like a woman be like, my boobs are too big. but like the girl with no boobs wants big boobs,
Girl.
but the girl that has big boobs doesn't want big. I feel like it's that type of situation. But because I'm not that color, I want it. But I think also the context of it comes into play. But I think it does stem from insecurities as well. But I think all of us across the board have insecurities.
It's so weird when you say that, because all this is not new for me, but the colorism thing in the sense where there's malice behind it is new to me in the extent where I was introduced to this at the age of 15. So, and living in Trinidad, like, yeah, I got the black jokes, I got all those jokes.
Say it again, but in a Trinidad accent.
I'm only doing this because I'm on camera and he's been asking me to do this for the longest. So living in Trinidad, when you're black, when you're dark skinned, and you have somebody who's light skinned, right? Everybody's seen everybody be seen, right? So she light skinned, people see she light skinned, but light skinned women have a bad taboo attached to them. So they see you to think so they see you to think you're honing, which means you're cheating. So light skinned women are associated with being unfaithful, whereas dark skinned women are associated with being family women. So light-skinned women are more seen as a jump-off, whereas dark-skinned women are seen as somebody that you want to settle down with. So for me, coming up here, it's like, I didn't know my skin wasn't beautiful. Why are y'all staring at me like that?
Because this is
Like you have my attention.
Hey, listen, if you want to join in the conversation, like, comment, share the show right now. We talking colorism, man. If you was a victim of colorism, can I say that? Okay. All right. If you were affected by colorism in any way, if you're real black and want to be real light, or vice versa, send us a comment or a share, and we going talk. You like that one? You like that? They go all night. I go all night. But go ahead, Tay. Finish the Trinidad voice you was talking.
Yeah, I didn't know like dark skin was considered ugly until I came up here and realized that it was put at the bottom of the totem pole. Because where I'm from, that darky, sexy darky, Barbie, sexy Barbie, the whole thing like that. And light skin woman.
Oh, that's what they call them, red skin?
Yeah, red skin.
Okay.
I be a darky. So you're red skin, you're brown skin, you still be brown.
Okay.
Yeah, darky, light skin, or red woman. And for me, it was always looked as somebody that was obtainable. I was always somebody that you want to put in a house because dark skin women know how to cook, they know how to breed children, they know how to raise children, and light skin women just want to horn and party whole day.
So you really had a little bit of thought inside of you. You wanted to be a red woman.
Just a little bit.
I can dig it.
It's interesting that you say that, because even that kind of goes back to stereotypes that were bred through slavery, like the Mammy versus the Jezebel.
Exactly.
One was like darker skin, she was the homemaker, and then the Jezebel light skinned woman, the tantalizing mulatto woman.
Was nothing to take seriously.
She was nothing to take seriously, but she was also coveted by like white men. It was like she was like, ooh, I want to try that. Like, but the dark skinned woman was who was like raising the kids, all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting that even there, it's like the same thing.
So
but then again,
both of y'all being red women, do y'all find that more white men are attracted to y'all than your darker homegirls?
that hasn't been my
In
experience.
today's society, I don't know.
I was going to say, it's changed.
It's changed.
It's
It's
changed.
flipped a little bit.
It's
a
changed.
little bit.
It's changed. Yeah, it's changed. A lot more white men seem like they're leaning towards dark skinned women.
Oh,
And
you be getting hit on by the white
I
boys
don't-
too?
Yeah, but it's not a compliment for me. I take it as a fetish.
Why?
A jungle fever.
Yeah,
I think it's a fetish.
It's not
not fair.
It's a fetish.
It goes back to being like darker skin, the more African. Like,
Exactly.
the
It's like a
culture shit.
Mandingo fantasy. Like you
Yeah.
look at me and you're like, well,
You
jungle
can't
fever.
look
Like
at
Yeah,
all-
like she about to turn my
Yeah.
life.
I don't like this. I'm speaking up for my white men that love the sisters. All right?
Why
But
they
first
love
of all,
sisters specifically? Why
listen.
can't it be they love someone who happens to be a sister?
Well, why can't they love sisters specifically?
Because that's weird. That's a fetish, and that's also
Exactly.
part of
No,
racism.
it's
A fetish is an offspring of racism.
No,
Yes.
y'all is tripping.
No.
When it comes to sexuality and what I like to see, like you can like what you want to like.
Your likes
But you
don't,
have to get
you're
to
not
why
in a
you like
vacuum.
that thing.
Like we don't exist in a vacuum.
This
All
is-
of
this
our
is-
preconceived notions come from somewhere.
This is
Context.
ridiculous. How can we be allowed to be born a man but love a man, but we can't be born white and love black women? That's idiotic. That doesn't even make sense.
Because racial preferences aren't based in anything but white supremacy.
But you're making it a racial preference.
no, if you say I prefer black women, that's a racial preference.
No, it's not. It's a sexual preference.
What? My race isn't my
You
sex.
have to be.
A racial preference means
Black
I was with you.
as far as
What
sex, you prefer
here's
a
what
certain
I'm
race.
saying. Here's what I'm saying. What you like sexually does not automatically become racial because you prefer a different color.
That's exactly what that means.
No, it doesn't. That's like saying racism in reverse. I love black women even though I'm a white man. Oh, that's racially motivated. It's not racially motivated.
It is.
It's what I sexually prefer.
But if you're focused on her race, you're not focused on her as a person, or what she
I
can
could be
offer
focused
sexually.
on her body. I could be focused on
But
her
what
curves.
about the-
I could
okay.
like her hair.
But
white women with curves.
the thing is, all black women don't look the same. So what about a black, like, I don't have a butt. She does. She's dark skinned. I'm light skinned.
That
So
just
what
means-
about black
That
women?
means that she would be the type of black woman I like.
But what about black? You can't just say black women and not specify when black ranges from like albinism to like dark skinned people.
But that's like saying, like, as a black man, I can't prefer Spanish women.
That's
Men
weird.
out there that like
But you
that.
have to read that
You
as
have to think about why.
Attracted.
You have to think about
No,
why.
sometimes
I
we
feel
think
like we
too
say sometimes
much.
like I love chocolate men. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Like that's what
And
I'm
you allowed
attracted
to.
to. Yeah,
Like,
like
make a comment.
so.
You allowed
But your
to.
preferences are still rooted in something. Like you don't
But that
just.
doesn't mean
you're not
that
just
it's
born with
racial.
But
that.
I don't always look at it as it's racial because when I say I like chocolate men, I normally look at, you know how like when people say you like your father, like as a woman, my dad is chocolate, and I just for some reason I love chocolate men. Light skinned men, they cool. Like I could give them a shot. Like I'm not that type of person. I judge a person based off what you give me. But like off first glance.
That has more to do with your upbringing, though. Than
Exactly,
As far as racial
then-
biases that have been placed in you by
But
society.
it's not automatically bias. Why do we always go to bias? I
So
could
if you
just
say
like the way
preference, that
it
means
looks.
bias. If you say preference, that means
But you're
you're
allowed to
biased
have a
towards
bias
something.
sexually.
I feel like what is the problem with being
You say you
biased?
like black women, you have 3 different black women. Like what about Tay do you like personally? Like what do you like? When you say I like black
it
women,
it can be anything. But I think what we can't do is it's very hard for me to understand how we can live in a society where it's totally okay for a white man to be like, oh, I like black men, or I like men in general. But it's not okay for a white man or a black man to say they like the other race sexually.
I don't think we're saying it's not okay. We're just saying
We just
that
wanna
it
know
is
what
It's
rooted.
a weird
It's
preference.
rooted. It's
It's
rooted.
like you need to
off of-
observe that.
But
Yeah.
because
but
then
it
you're.
doesn't. It's preference. It's sexual preference.
But also, you comparing that to someone's like sexual preferences as far as like
Being gay. That's
being
not
gay.
choice.
That's not the same thing.
But why can't me liking white women or black women
Well,
not be the same thing?
one thing is logistically just different. Like, do I need to explain to you how that works?
No,
Or
here's the thing. Here's the
Right, I
thing.
wanna hear it.
What, and I know because I know where you about to go. All I'm saying is we think too much sometimes.
I
It
think you
may
don't
not
think
be
enough,
that,
Kyrie.
No, it may not be that complex. You ever see the old head white boy that be dancing all the trap music, but he really be like in the joint, he be going to the clubs and all of that type of stuff? It's wrong for one to think that music can't speak to him.
That's
Music speaks
different.
to your soul. It's not different.
it is different because
if
if you're placing a person, a human being, under a bunch of stereotypes that they did not ask to be placed under, that is a form of racism.
not if I like you sexually.
Yes, this is saying, okay, they like the Jezebel sexually. That doesn't mean she wanted to be a Jezebel.
No, but you're missing my point. We're not talking Jezebel. We're not talking none of that. I'm simply saying it doesn't matter where you were born or what you are. You can have a sexual period. It's just sexual preference that has nothing to do with race because you like
It
how it
doesn't
looks,
have
you like
nothing
how
to
it
do
feels,
with
you
race
like how it
if you
smells.
cite
like all
that the
of these
reason you
things.
like them is because of the race they are. You can't say it has nothing to do with race and then say I like black women. Black is a race.
But you can because
No,
it
you
can,
can't. You're ignoring
This is what I'm
words
talking
mean
about.
things.
But this is what I'm talking about, right? Her hair is different than any white girl.
Okay.
I can be a black man and be attracted to that. I can also be a white man and be attracted to that.
Okay, but not every black woman has that.
Right, this is like-
That's the
Yeah,
point.
but she becomes my
Specific.
type.
Her.
That's like saying if I'm gay, I'm attracted to every gay boy.
I don't wanna be
No, I still got a type.
But
you-
we're saying
that's
is
what we're saying.
Tay's
You don't-
type isn't all black women.
Yes.
Pick a different
Just like when you
example.
said like the old head that like be listening to hip hop music and be getting lit off that joint. That's a specific type of music. Who's to
Right.
say he's like conscious rap? So just to say you like the hip hop or all that, that's not the same. You see what I'm saying?
But all I'm saying is, how can't you be predisposed to a certain thing, but you can be predisposed to another thing? That's unfair.
Because black woman is broader than one specific type.
Yes.
To
So
say
is-
black
so
woman,
is
you have to
gay
get
men.
like.
Like, I don't understand. Like, so
One
is,
is
But the one
logistically
thing
different.
that
Yeah.
all gay men have in common is that they like other men.
So I once I say I like women, I like a specific type of woman. I think we all on a we on a whole different topic right now. We're on a different topic, but maybe we'll talk about that in the future because I know I got to move on. Other cultures. You think other cultures experience colorism?
Yes.
In the black community, what culture? Somebody speak on it.
They're more so rooted in classism, though.
Well, I think colorism affects all minorities pretty similarly, except for the fact that because there's a spectrum of whiteness to blackness and everyone else sort of just falls in between, wherever they are in like the color spectrum, like literally, I think they maybe don't have it as bad as we do. Like there's still, people who are closer to whiteness are still preferred. People who are closer in tone to like the darkest black person are still oppressed. Differently.
Are we at a place where if you're not black, your color almost isn't really like taken into consideration in society?
No.
Like, so you feel as though if you're, maybe I'm asking this different, and your no could be a no, but I'm saying, are we saying Asians? Are we saying Spanish? Like, let's talk about like the job market.
Spanish isn't a race. Just putting that out there.
Or the Latino. Latina.
Still not a race,
Latinx?
but you mean like
Puerto
ethnic. The ethnic group. Yes, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I don't know what to say.
What does it say
They
on
like
the
chicken and
papers
rice. I don't
as
know.
far as their race? Like,
Hispanic? I don't know.
We don't have them.
Yeah, we don't.
But what I'm saying is, job interview, right? Tay show up, especially on one of them days. She ain't looking like, hey Tay, right?
You gonna stop calling it my friend.
Yeah,
No, I'm not.
My
No, I'm not.
friend and my
No, I'm not.
coworker.
No, I'm not.
You're not.
I love me some Tay, but it's a battle on this show tonight. Anyway, Tay show up. Spanish woman shows up. Latina.
Okay, what type of like? Is she a white Spanish woman or is she like a? We're not
There's
gonna act like
There's
Spain
definitely
is
two
a
different
European
types
country.
of Spanish women.
There's Selena, and then there's the maid from Family Guy.
She looked good, but she from D in Allegheny. But she looked good. She well put together. One of them Spanish women.
But what's the complexion of her skin?
Yeah.
Her color.
Okay, keep going.
But the job interviewer knows that she's Puerto Rican when she comes through the door. She got a lot of colors on. Then an Asian person comes in.
What
They're-
skin complexion?
They're like I hate to say this. I apologize.
Are Asians different?
Don't
Yeah,
say
you can
yellow.
talk
Don't
about,
say yellow.
No,
Don't
okay,
say
like, are you
yellow.
talking about like Filipino?
Filipino,
Like,
Cambodian people are like darker.
Yeah,
They're darker.
Yeah.
But I
Let's-
feel like you
let's-
can tell that they're all Asian.
Let's go
Yeah, you
Japanese.
can tell.
Let's go Japanese. They from Tokyo. That's in Japan.
That's
I mean, they can still be darker, but you mean a light Asian.
lighter color Asian person,
Okay.
right? And then the white person comes in. White woman. I know, I'm hella offensive right now. I love all people. I promise I'll let a whole spectrum. But funny is funny at the same time. I ain't
But it don't
racist.
be funny.
But anywho, everybody back there was laughing. And a white lady comes in. A white lady. Who getting the job?
White lady.
Who's hired?
Yeah. I mean,
I would
Let's
say
we talking colorism, so let's say it don't matter.
if color
Or let's
was
make
the
them
only,
black.
if color was like the only factor, I would generally it would be like a white person or like
Yeah.
sometimes if an Asian person falls into the model minority myth, they would go with, oh, Asians are smart, so let's hire an Asian person. I think that comes into play sometimes. I'm not going to say Asian people like aren't oppressed and don't face discrimination,
Pause.
but
Even black people will go with the
wait,
white
wait, because I'm
option.
outraged. I'm outraged.
Not here.
Sweet's allowed to say that all Asians are smart, and that just
I
slides
like
in.
going with the
say.
stereotypes.
Even still, so that I gotta preface it with that.
and
or
I
do-
referenced that it was a model
Y'all-
minority myth.
Y'all let that. Okay.
Yes.
Sweet gets special privileges. I'm just saying.
she said it was a myth though.
Still, Kai ain't allowed to do that.
I
type
be
of
saying stuff like it's facts.
Kai ain't allowed to do
Right.
that. I be saying it like it's jokes. She just gave you a fact. But go ahead, model minority myth and all that. Who they hiring?
I think it depends on a lot of factors, but I think if we're just going based on what we've seen historically through like discriminatory practices like white women, because also if she's a white woman, that counts for the whole diversity thing. A lot of times affirmative action still benefits white women. So they would go for her or they would go for the
Just check their boxes, huh?
yeah, yes. The model minority myth, if the Asian person falls into that, then probably the Latina. But also, I know that their wage statistics are also kind of close to ours. I think they're a little bit below us as far as like compared to the white man's dollar.
Which one?
Latinas. Yeah.
They are. They're below us.
Yeah.
Well,
So I
and
don't know
wage.
I don't know how that comes into like the hiring practices versus like pay. That's something I'll have to look up.
Oh, stump sweet on one, y'all.
I mean, I'm not really stumped. I mean, you know, it'd be the white woman.
Fuck everything I just said. The white lady get hired. Here's a question that I have though. I'm gonna skip. Do we think it's a solution in sight? But a question I have is, I for one feel like, even if it is there in other communities, I feel like the black community is like I've never seen memes of like Puerto Ricans versus Dominicans or light-skinned Puerto Ricans versus.
You don't follow enough
Where you
people
looking?
that
Where you looking at?
I'm just saying, I just don't think it's as prevalent as the colorism in the black community.
It's everywhere. There's skin bleaching advertisements in almost every country from, Asia's a continent, not a country, but across Asia, Africa, especially in Africa, there's a lot of skin bleaching.
77% of Nigerian women bleach their
Advertisements, yeah.
And not
Because
even just that, you'd be surprised what Asian women do to themselves to look more American. Like, I watched something where someone got their eyes fixed to make them, like, had a whole eye surgery.
The
to
double
make their
eyelid
eyes-
They
surgery?
haven't changed. You can't.
Something.
Yeah.
They
They
haven't
change
changed.
their monolith sometimes.
No,
Yeah.
like not fixed. Yeah, that was wrong. Sorry, but changed like where it was more open. So
I
your
would've
eyes are
said that.
open.
no, and in those countries, it's like when you're darker, you're associated with being poorer because you're out in the sun and you have to work menial jobs and you get darker doing what you do. When you're lighter, you're inside all the time. You're being pampered, so they immediately look at you and you're like, well, you got to be poor. You rich.
Also, let's not forget that there's a derogatory term for black people in every language in every country. So they'll usually liken the darker skinned people to black people in whatever that derogatory term is.
Do we break that down in the regular English?
There is a slur for black people in every language. So darker skinned people of other ethnicities will often compare themselves, or like the lighter skinned people in those ethnicities will compare the darker skinned people to black people using the slur. I think
So I get the back end. I think my confusion was: are you saying like there's a Spanish word for nigga, or are you saying like they got
that
a
is the
whole other
Spanish word, isn't it? Negro.
Negro.
Yeah,
Negro.
that is the Spanish
Black,
word.
but
It's the Spanish with a little twang on it. That's nigga. But I don't want to say it for real. Like I know the Korean one because I listen to a lot of like Korean music, so I've seen like some of their.
Well, first of all, what you doing listening to Korean music?
I'm not saying that these people who make the music. I'm saying that
K-pop.
You think you know a girl?
K-pop.
It's called K-pop.
I'm not saying that the K-pop artists I listen to use this derogatory language, but like having seen some of the shows and stuff that they
What's
they
the
have.
word? I'm on
As
the
I'm
edge
waiting
of my
for it.
seat. Like,
I don't want to say it.
Tell me.
Sweet.
Tell me.
I want
Tell
to
me.
hear it.
we
Yeah,
talking
I
about
get it.
colorism.
Yeah,
Sweet.
tell me.
Yeah, it's a
Just tell me.
conversation.
They calling us Coronas, ain't they?
No,
What is it?
I'm not. It's not a nice word, but they call
It's a
some of the
not
darker
nice word.
skinned idols that word because it's what they call.
What's
black
a
people.
that word?
Say word.
Sweet. If you
You
don't,
gotta say
We
it.
know that you're not
No,
using it
next
derogatory.
Right.
listen, because next time I'm out in public and I hear it, now I
exactly. You ain't save her. You ain't save her.
You're not gonna hear it in public. I don't think they say it much here.
Do one of them little disclaimers
I know
like you
China
did
say all
before
the
you
time.
said Asian people were smart.
right.
I'm good. I can tell you after the show.
Can somebody
Hey,
Google
yo, say me
at
something.
home?
I'm a-
Sweet running for office or something. We ain't know. I don't know. She trying to stay real politically correct.
Yeah, whisper to tell.
Wait, my mic is on. No.
That was a good one, Ab. You almost got her.
What?
She ain't gonna know how to recite that. I'm
Okay.
about to whisper down the lane.
Cow dookie? What? Come dookie?
No.
Hey, man, we ready to jump in our commercial right now? We got a sponsor we're gonna get to real quick, man. Shima Steakhouse, man. Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Tom, this is amazing. Man, you know, I should have went with King's Mark from the beginning.
It was a pleasure working with you.
If I ever see that other contractor again.
Hey, big guy. Wife let me in. Just here to finish up those cabinets.
For all your cabinetry needs, contact King's Mark Custom Cabinets and Design.
Every now and again, I mess up. I apologize. That wasn't a Shima commercial. That was our sponsors, King's Mark Cabinets. We want to thank them again for all that they do for helping us keep the show and the whole team going out here. Thanks, Tom. Ain't his name Tom? Yep. His name Tom, right? King's Mark, Tom. It was almost a double whammy. But we back and we learned. Do you want to say it, Tay? The word that.
Kamdungi. That's what it is, right? Did I say it right?
Not really, but
Okay.
It was like.
I was about to say, if it's a Korean word, it definitely don't sound like that.
It's a Korean word in
Yeah.
an English Trinidadian accent. That's what that was. She'll never get it right. Ever. Do you think it's harder being a dark-skinned woman or a dark-skinned man?
Dark-skinned woman.
Thank you,
I'm
Derek.
just gonna jump out.
Because I agree.
Gonna tell him?
Always dark-skinned woman.
I agree.
Because our women are always like, because it comes from us as well as it comes from the fellas as well. Like we always we always go to the, cause especially because going back to the media, like they always pushing Kim Kardashian. They always pushing like even she's not even or whatever. They're always pushing like the lighter complected sissies, right? And they're pushing everything like that. So everybody always the stereotypes is dark skinned women are aggressive, dark skinned women have attitudes, all that type of stuff. Whereas like we just get called black as shit. Like we get it, but it's not as much as they don't go through as much. We don't go through as much as they do. Either.
It's like not only your race, but your womanhood gets challenged.
I was about to say, and I feel like it's a female thing. Like sometimes we could be catty, we go
Right.
back and forth, and things are said. So I think
I will say
it's
that
definitely
I
a
do
woman.
understand what you were saying earlier about how you've gotten attacked in the past by dark skinned women, because I do know other dark skinned females that do have issues with light skinned women based off of experience that they've had in the past, and it does stem from an insecurity. But if I can say, it's not a personal thing.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not, because it's just like when you have a world that's literally telling you that everything else under the sun is beautiful but you, it's like.
And I understand that
Hold
because
on, because Tay just apologized for all dark-skinned women, and you just accept it for all light-skinned
Yes,
women.
because I love y'all.
I hate you so
I
much.
love my melanin, like I
lady
love,
sisters.
like I be right at
She
my
got all
girls,
the
like
melanin.
your skin is popping all the time. That is me.
I got you.
So no, I definitely understand it's not a personal thing, and I think I've been able to, move through life that way because clearly I'm not biased or I don't hate dark skinned women because they treated me differently. But I think that I've understood that it's not a personal thing. It's something that is a personal problem with them or with the way society has set it up for them to feel about themselves.
Right.
So I don't take it personal, especially not now. Like if you got a problem with me, you got a problem with me. It is what it is.
I'm sorry.
What's up,
Go
sweet?
Since you were talking about like dark skin females versus dark skinned males, I do want to say that historically speaking, dark skin has been attributed to masculinity, and like white femininity is sort of the ideal for womanhood. Period.
Tay do be looking strong some days.
I'ma need you to chill.
I'm more of a man than you'll ever be. Trust me.
And say, I need you to
Trust
show
me.
him that after, because
I don't want to
he's
see
crazy.
Trust
I don't want to see that.
Trust me.
And I want to hit him before you.
Yeah, kind needs to be dragged,
I'm sorry.
metaphorically and physically,
Let's go.
Literally.
The Sweet and Sour Show, whenever you're ready.
not by me.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, historically speaking, since white fragility is sort of what womanhood is, and to be a woman, you need to have, you know, purity and all that stuff that is attributed to white femininity. And that's also why dark-skinned males are seen as like more masculine a lot of the time. So it doesn't work.
We out here.
You're not dark skinned though.
You're not dark-skinned.
Hold that.
You're not dark-skinned, you just husky. So
Barely.
I'm dead. So yeah, I think that also plays into it as far as like,
That's a titty. That's not a peg. I know the difference.
You gotta do this.
Keep going. Sorry.
I lost. Oh, yep. As far as dating preferences, most people, at least in heteronormativity, like heterosexual people, you want your male partner to be masculine and your female partner to be feminine. So a lot of time, if you go for a black man who's darker skinned, you would say, oh yeah, like masculinity is aligned with that. So that's another reason why darker skinned women are seen as like less attractive, because they're furthest from white fragility.
So I have a question. It's not on the script. Can't we just Tyler Perry the whole situation?
What that mean?
What
And
I
what's
mean,
his
this is what I mean.
Tyler Perry.
Don't
Tyler
be
Perry is so problematic for the black
You
community.
mean Coonan?
Metaphorically,
Right.
metaphorically speaking, what Tyler Perry did is he built Black Hollywood. He said, y'all want to keep waiting for them to accept us and to put us on the pedestal we belong and to show our art form the way we're supposed to show our art form and just do it for us, right? So maybe Tyler Perry wasn't a good analogy as far as what you talk about. But what I mean is, y'all young and smart and like black and light skin and dark skin and brown skin and all of this, and I think it's just stupid. Like, can't we just, as a people, not just like the 5 of us up here, but can't we just like start another direction? Can't we have more of these dialogues and understandings as opposed to just letting colorism be a thing? And to your point, where it came from and all of that, like there's got to be a turning point at some point. Like when I'm listening, it's just like, this is stupid. Especially like you lost friends and like you like saying you knew people who ain't like light skin. Like, can't we be the change we want to see and just sit a dark skinned girl down and be like, my whole family dark skinned?
No, I think
let's stop.
I think we can, but I also think it's bigger than us. Like you talking about us sitting right here, it's a bigger issue than us.
But it only affects
But
us,
I think
though.
the best way to do it is just to spread love. Like
affect
I
white
said.
people?
I mean, it does because I have a lot of white friends from my dance background, and between like Italians and like regular white girls, they 2 different types.
I'm not talking about them. Remember I said Tyler Perry situation, right? I'm talking about us.
Right, but you just said
to take
white
it
people
upon
don't have to
us
do
to
that.
fix
Yeah,
it.
they don't have to deal with, ain't no white people being affected by Tay and Aaliyah not getting along with
Right,
each
but
other.
what I'm saying is I think
simply because of their skin?
I think you have to disarm people with love. So like I said, for my darker skinned women like Tay, I'm like, oh my gosh, your skin is so beautiful. Like you have to like
See, I think that's
uplift.
problematic right there. I think she's
Why?
tripping coming in hot with that one.
No, but in today, like saying your skin is so
Light-skinned
beautiful
girl
means
just-
it could be mean
That's
it's
it.
clear.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying? Like you not might,
but that's different,
might not
though.
take that as
But
me
that's
saying
different.
because you're darker, your skin is
Now-
beautiful.
now
but
hold
just being
on.
like, yo, you're so pretty, or not taking out
See,
the
you
skin.
still,
You're
that's
so
another
pretty.
shot.
I think you're
No,
taking
it's
it as her
not.
being condescending.
How is
and
it?
not
But-
where
It's
she's
not
at.
condescending.
But let's be real, right? If you got a brown skinned woman who's been, like she just said, I had friends that was light skinned girls and this and that, that's her predisposition. And if you got a light skinned girl that's coming for you, for your skin from the rip, you're not really gonna absorb that like, oh, she really think my skin is nice.
because good skin is hard to come by nowadays. So
Good
if sis
skin and dark
appreciate-
skin is different though. You can have good skin at any shade.
Right, that's what I'm
Right,
saying.
but that's what I'm saying.
That's
You
what she's
just
saying.
disarm them by
She's saying
giving
it
them
can,
a compliment.
it can mean that my complexion looks smooth. It could mean that
No,
I
no,
look
no,
blemish
she could
free.
say-
she don't got no
She could
pimples,
say
like-
your skin is clear.
Right.
That has nothing to do with
But
you.
that's not how girls talk. She's not gonna say, "Oh, you don't have one pimple on your face."
Right.
She's not gonna say that.
But I think that's what y'all should say.
but that's like you're a man.
That sounds like a shot to me. I'm sorry.
I think it depends
A
on
light
where you
skinned
kind
girl
of
coming
are.
straight in like your skin is so beautiful.
No, because
a
dark
simple
skin girls
compliment,
do
like
it to
if
each
I
other
was to
too.
see, right? But if I was just to see any one of you out and just be like, hey, your outfit is so cute, or just disarming them by being friendly, because a lot of times, because of the colorism and the dark skin and light skin issue, a dark skinned woman might look at me and think I'm stuck up, or think I'm better than her. By me disarming her with a compliment, that shows that I'm a little bit more humble
But the
and I can give
compliment
it
on
to
her
her.
clothes is different.
It
'Cause
doesn't matter.
That's like a
though.
white person that think
But I don't think it
they gonna
matters.
be the racist one coming in and be like, wow, Derek, your skin is really clear.
But
Like, bro, that's a shot, bro. Like, that's a shot.
would you take that as a shot if I saw you out and I was like, oh, you look really, you're so beautiful, or you're
No,
like,
you didn't once mention that I
If
was
you
dark
said
skinned.
just-
Exactly.
But she said the first thing she said was your skin is nice.
But again, as women,
Yeah,
we
that's
take
a
this
part of women
seriously.
empowerment.
We be
You take our skin regimens very seriously.
all
But that's
that.
different than saying your skin is clear or you pimple free.
But why would
I
point out?
I wouldn't come up to no woman and be like, oh my gosh, your skin is clear. You don't
I
got
remember
not
when
one
you had
pimple.
that titty on
Yeah,
your forehead just
right.
last
I would
week.
never
No,
say
but
that.
clear
here's
as
what
hell,
I'm
like-
saying. I'm saying if somebody as dark as you or close says something about your skin, that's automatically not a shot. I'm just saying.
Well, right, so it can't be a shot. She doesn't either.
I just don't think it's a light skinned girl's place to say. I'm sorry.
I think it depends.
But
on
you're not a
relationship.
light skinned girl, so how do you determine what they place
I'm
is?
not determining. I'm just saying I would look at that as a shot.
Dark skin says that she's beautiful.
Is she beautiful? And
If I say her
skin is
skin
nice.
is
It's
clear,
just different.
or her
If
skin
you
is
say your
beautiful.
skin is beautiful and I'm in the workplace, I'm just telling you how I am.
Women
If
know
I
what I'm
sit in the
talking about.
cubicle between these two
Because you spice.
and they just met, and the first thing she says, "Oh my God, your skin is beautiful," I'm getting some popcorn. That's all.
Because she black.
That's all I'm saying.
But just like there's people who tell me my skin is beautiful. I don't automatically be like, oh, they talking about my skin complexion. No, I think they're talking about because I moisturize and I do my face wash.
But you
and
also
I
on
do
the other side of that coin.
But I don't feel like it doesn't matter. But I still don't know.
But what if it was
so
a white person?
A white person?
If it was a white person, do you feel
I tell white people that their skin is beautiful.
No, I'm saying them coming to you and saying that.
Yes.
That's just okay.
I don't take it. I'm mixed. I don't take it no way.
Oh, I'm mixed. There's a caveat. Is that okay? A white person coming up to you and saying, "Wow, your skin is really nice."
It's not the same as your hair looks straight.
Also, it depends on your tone, and it's not the same as being like, oh my gosh, your braids are so nice,
right? Or your hair looks really straight
or,
today.
Oh my gosh, how did you get braids today, but you had straight hair yesterday? Like, I'm not saying it like that.
Yeah,
that's a bit much.
It would be like a tender-hearted compliment.
I got you. I got to move on.
So you being sensitive as America right
now.
Yes.
I might be. I'm just saying I would get some popcorn. That's all.
Jesus.
We already answered that. We already answered. Oh no, well maybe not. Family and friends. Y'all ever experienced colorism at the hand of a family or friend member?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. You did say you got some dark skinned cousins. They be busting on your little light skin.
They tortured me as a kid.
What they used to do?
They were just mean, and I'm the younger. I start the youngest generation of the cousins. So they used to just bother me. They used to pick on me.
What the names they used to call you?
They just used to tell me I wasn't black enough. Like, don't talk like that. You ain't black. Like, your mom is such and such. Like, they just used to come because their parents aren't mixed, but my mom is Russian. My mom is mixed. My mom is Russian and black, but she looks very way lighter than I am. So they just used to be telling me I'm not black and I can't talk like that. But I'm like, but y'all teaching me the way to talk. Like,
I want to say half the N-word.
Yeah, like I can't say certain stuff or they just used to. When I say torture.
It used to be the opposite for us.
Everything.
Like, all me and my cousins were darker, and I had one cousin who's like lighter skin, and yeah, we would beat up on her.
Yeah. When you're the odd one out, it's different. And even my sister is darker than me, so I really was like the odd one out. My sister is like a probably your complexion, honestly.
Okay, she got good skin then.
So I always had to deal with me looking different than the rest of my family.
I experienced something a little bit similar. Like, I do remember, light, bright, like whitey kind of stuff. But I also don't believe reverse colorism is a thing. Like, it's just like by the definition of colorism, it's not, reverse colorism. So I don't think that's what I was experiencing. I think I was experiencing someone else's reaction to colorism and how that was taught in our family through whatever means. So I don't think I was experiencing colorism. I think I was experiencing other children's reaction to colorism. Because it, in the moment, like, but
always a layer of.
I know. That's what it is. Because like kids make fun of other kids for everything. They make fun if you got an accent, if you from a different country, if you light, if you dark, if you got a lisp, if you got a bald spot in your hair, anything. Yeah. Like kids will make fun of you for anything, and it hurts in the moment. But like hurt feelings and oppression are just different. And I think that's always important to clarify in these conversations. So like, I wasn't being systemically oppressed. Like I know that my kindergarten teacher probably was like, oh, cute little light-skinned girl. Like, I don't think my grade school teachers were racist or anything, but I'm saying if they had some sort of unintentional bias that they didn't really pick up on, maybe I was a little bit, favored over some of the darker skinned kids. Like, I think that's important to look at. So yeah, I was being called light, bright and stuff, but also, yeah.
I once had somebody argue my boyfriend down that he had to be mixed. Met him and said that because he's so light, he's her complexion or a little bit lighter, and argued him down.
And that happens a lot too.
Like, what your dad or your mom has to be white. No, I promise they both just high yellow.
I know what wig I got on.
You're adopted. Like, literally argued him down.
I mean, somewhere down the line, he definitely got a little white person in him
somewhere down the line, but
we all do.
Yeah,
we all do.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he just got a lot more of it than the rest of us.
Moving along.
He should have been on the show.
No, but I have a friend that her whole family is just very light skinned. Like they're all black, but they're light skinned. They're not mixed. They're just all white.
All right, let me jump to this one real quick because I'm getting rap signals and all of that. Anybody ever been rejected by the opposite sex because they were either too light or too dark?
I have.
I feel like I probably have, but it wasn't made known to me that was the reason why.
Hold on, I want to see if Derek can make us cry.
It wasn't that deep. But no, like I actually I know a young lady who like she only talks to light skinned dudes. And that was just thing. So I came in.
Was you in like a hot pursuit though? Like you really wanted
It was
her?
nothing that deep. Trust me, it wasn't nothing that deep. But I definitely came at her on the gram.
So you can't hit us
She
with
was no, she actually said that to me. Though. Like,
wow, this is not that deep, Derek.
Came on the gram.
He gonna hit us with the Eddie Winslow. I had.
Yeah.
Remember that episode
No, but
when
I'm
Eddie
like,
got beat up by the drag? He was like, I will. He hit us with that joke about he slid in a light skinned girl DM and she said no.
No, she wasn't light skinned. She's more brown skinned.
She was brown skinned and still said no to your brown skin ass?
You would be surprised.
Yeah.
That's wild
I know a
coloristic
lot
right there.
of brown skinned women that be like, I like light skin.
That used to be my preference.
Chris Brown, Drake,
Yeah.
give me that.
So I need y'all to stop saying that.
Why?
I don't have a preference. It used to be my preference.
But then you found
Yes, I just so happened to fall in love with someone who is light skinned. That's not my preference though. At one point it was, because I was afraid that if I had children with someone who was as dark as maybe Derek, that they would be subjected to the same or myself. That's real though. That's real. They would be subjected to the same ridicule that I was. And like when you think about how you feel as a person and you think about like possibly creating another person that has to go through that, it's like, damn, like if I have to make this preference to make my child's life easier, then maybe. But then I realized that I was missing out on a whole demographic of men that are actually fine.
Like I actually used to be like that to your point, but then I kind of shifted the tide a little bit. Once I like started coming into my own as a person, as a man, I'm like, no, I'm rocking out with dark skin. Like that's who I wanted. Right. And for like a good 2 years, it was like, I want the dark skinned chicks because nobody else is like going after them. So it's like I'm gonna hold it down. But then I started to like, huh?
White men are going after
We're not talking about the name.
I went from no dark skin to if he's dark skin, he gotta look like Lance Gross to all right, he's actually regular looking cute too. And
so I just think that even for everybody, I just had to like I had to drop
terrible.
preferences and I just go after like who's a cool person.
This whole show, we could have done it in 5 minutes because we terrible.
No, we're not. I said I used to have a preference.
We are terrible. And look,
I feel like
Sweet,
we had productive conversations.
if Sweet was a meme, it'll look like this, y'all.
What the hell is that?
What's that? Notice how one person got it. His business partner of all people.
The one person that knows him the best in this whole room is the only person that got it.
Sweet,
And
that's
the
a
only
bottle
one
of water. Wait a minute.
H2O.
Isn't that why you asked me to be on this show?
100%, Sweet. 100%.
And you gave it to us.
100%.
Thank you.
Sweet the shit. She just needs to stop playing and do this sweet and sour show so me and her can argue for an hour. It's been a great show, man. You know what I'm saying? Even though all we did was accomplish the fact that we still coloristic. We real coloristic. I think it needs to change. Needs to change in a hurry. And I think that we are that change. I think it was some great points that were brought up tonight. I think we need to listen more. We need to listen more. Like, it's stupid. Like, it's real stupid.
Super stupid.
Listen, man. Thank y'all for watching my new Philly. Get them. You want me to? Okay, so y'all gonna join in anyway. This is what we gonna do. So I'm gonna say thank you for watching my new Philly, where something's always new and everything's always Philly. And y'all gonna say that and everything's always Philly part with me, okay?
Cute.
I'm gonna say that my accent.
Y'all know it. Don't mess it up.
What was it again? Don't say it. Okay.
It's been a great show on 2-1 Live. We had a great time tonight speaking about colorism. Thank you for my guests that came out and our wonderful location host and our sponsor, Kingsmark Cabinets. But that's all the time we have on My New Philly, where something's always new
And everything's always Philly.
Did I sweat a lot? I ain't sweat too much?
Hell yeah.
Damn.
Time to get it.
Time to get it.
Stop playing, Aaliyah. Come here. Stop playing. Stop playing.
Oh.